Hey, how's it going? So, oh wow. I am gonna read you some cards, and I'm gonna show you what I pulled here for the tarot cards from the Light Seers, tarot deck. And these are them here. You got Seven of Wands, Page of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, Nine of Cups, Ace of Swords, Queen of Wands, and the Fool. And I will show you some other cards as I go. So, I actually pulled with some intention here. Okay, this is just gonna drive me nuts, isn't it? Probably. So, anyway, here's what's been on my mind. And it's been on my mind for a while, but not in quite this way, shape, and form. And I guess I'll just start off my remarks with, fellas, what is going on with you guys? Here's where my current journey started with this. And I like comedy. That's probably what brought this into my purview, because otherwise Cat Williams does not come under, like, I don't think of him much. Even though I like comedy, he's funny, like, sometimes to me, and then but his overall persona kind of like takes away from the humor for me, so he's not one of my favorites, is what I'm saying. Not that it matters. He absolutely does not need me. And that kind of has to do with what I want to get at. So I started seeing all these shorts about him, or not about him, but with him, just like going off on people, and the focus was usually, when I first started seeing this, it was Kevin Hart, the other comedian. And so what Cat Williams was, he's excited, he's like lit up about this, but not like happy. He's like angry, which I don't understand. I mean, I do, but I'll get to that. So he's out there and he's talking about what Hollywood does to people. And his problem with Kevin Hart is that he just turned up out of nowhere. He has said that there's no, like, evidence of him, I guess, selling out arenas and doing the things that you mainly have to do as a comedian, as a form, like a bunch of steps, like it's a process. His claim is that Kevin Hart appeared out of nowhere and got like a broadcast TV show. He had like a big part in Soul Plane, which was a movie from I don't know, like the 80s, 90s. It's a black movie, like black cast, and I guess he was like the star or something. It seems like I saw it, and I don't remember him at all. I mainly remember Snoop Dogg, and I think Wanda, the comedian Wanda with the Sykes, and some other like black sort of culture people. But I gotta be honest here, like, I am black, but I'm not like that much into the culture, so just know to take my remarks with a grain of salt, or that particular one. Which is not to say my opinion is invalid. I'm just saying that it's not the culture that I grew up in as like a young adult into adulthood. Like, I did have a life with my black part of my family, but the whole family kind of fragmented anyway, like both sides of my family. But the difference is that my mom took me out of like the black areas and where all the black people are, so I didn't grow up around them, and that is why I sound the way I sound. And of course it will have influenced my perspective on life, but it did not erase all other parts of my life. So I just want to get that out there, like, so you got a clear idea of who's talking to you. Okay, so I already said all that about like Cat Williams. So he's like mad because he doesn't feel like, I guess, Hart got to where he is legitimately. Now, I've seen his specials. He's funny. Like, he's a comedian. But apparently Williams' problem with Hart is that he apparently came out of nowhere and just got all these great accolades and roles, which I'm like, wow, dude, your bar is low, okay, Williams. But that aside, he is saying that the reason for that, the reason why Hart got ahead and got to leapfrog over all of this stuff, I guess, that he should have been doing the way that Cat Williams thinks things should be done, because I guess he's the authority on that. And listen, I don't have a dog in the fight either way. I'm just being objective about this, because neither of them are my favorite comedian. But I can't discount the fact that they're good at what they do as far as being funny. So anyway, Williams' problem with Hart apparently leapfrogging all these steps is that the Hollywood cabal got to him and he wore the dress. So that is what even made me notice all of this in this particular way, that because otherwise I would just be like, he's jealous, I guess. But then, so like wearing the dress and all that cabal business, that like piqued my interest, because there's definitely an organization of like perverts that it's like executives. It's a trend. If you look, they get powerful and you'll either, submit to things that I want you to do that don't necessarily have to do with comedy or like acting or music. It's more of a carnal thing that you're expected to do if you want to get to another level or a next level. And so yes, that exists. I have no doubt. I mean, the documentary about Nickelodeon just came out, and that's with kids, but it's the same thing. People in power, they have these things that they want to do that I guess they were not getting other ways, or paying for it wasn't doing it for them. They had to like go to people and like sort of wrench it out of them against their will. I mean, I don't know anyone who's like, yes, please take advantage of me, make me do things I absolutely do not want to do that are humiliating to me and culturally like destroy your mind. Pin that. So, okay, for whatever reason, maybe he did wear the dress, because it is terrible if Hollywood gets you to be in drag like that. And this is my perception of what Cat Williams is saying, and what his problem is with it, is that you start wearing the dress, Hollywood owns you, Hollywood makes you do basically like homosexual stuff. This is not me saying that. This is what I'm understanding Williams to say. So I'm going to diverge, still talking about that stuff, but diverge from Hollywood, because here's why the dress, wearing the dress, and it was so bad and so terrible and wrong. I was like, oh, okay, that's something's wrong with that. So here's what I think the problem is. I know just from like reading and movies and things, like I don't have a personal experience of this because I couldn't possibly. It's about men, black men, and a thing called the DL, which is the down low. And it means a particular thing, and if you don't know, it's like men that present as straight or are straight, or, well, I'll get there. They have heterosexual relationships, but on the side, on the sly, on the DL, on the down low, so that it's like nobody really knows about this, because what it seems like, now we're moving into a gray area, a cloudy area, and this is also my perception of it, but it's like, I've heard these people talking about it that do this down low thing. It's like, yes, they have their relationship with their wife or girlfriend and their family and all of that, but then they also have a relationship with a man that has a sexual component aside from just companionship. And because it's on the DL, it's not gay. That is what they say. So just me personally, no dog in the fight, just seeing this, I go, okay, call it what you want if that's what makes you feel good, but the textbook definition is you're doing gay stuff. But see, here's the thing. I want to avoid this thing that I see people do, and then gay people react to it, and it's when people that are not gay say, it's fine if they do that, I don't care. And it's like, it's not up to you, and nobody asked you, so please don't say it that way. Like, what are you saying? So I want to try to avoid that. But what I'm observing is that in the black community, not all of it, just like certain subsections of it, is like, gay is the devil, it's bad, never do it. If you do, you're going to hell, you're dragging everybody with you, it's contagious. It's like everything negative and bad, and that's why it's got to be on the DL. And also, I guess it's got to do with religion, and I'm not a like cultural anthropologist of black people. I don't even know if those are the right words to study what I'm talking about, but it is not my area of expertise. I'm just saying I noticed these things. And the thing is that if you have those impulses, you might be bisexual. Oh my God! But you know what? When you were sneaking around, the world didn't end. If you got caught and it felt like the world ended, the world didn't end. It feels horrible because of the way that you're living with it. Like, the world does not have to end. I understand that you, see, there it goes into that territory of, I'm not a gay person talking about gay person things, but I was gonna say, it doesn't go into the territory of it's bad because it's gay, because I'm sorry, that's not a thing. It's been around since the beginning of recorded history of time. Like, there's probably gay cave paintings and they just don't talk about them because they're gay. So there's such a like element of society that's like, no, gay, against it. It's like, no, it's actually not the devil. Whatever bad you're thinking of it, that's on you. That's your, like, if it makes you feel bad, you really don't have to like wear it that way. You don't have to live it that way. And I know that for someone to come along, especially someone not in that subsection of society, to say it seems wrong. But what I'm saying is that, and you can't just like be so deeply entrenched in something like I'm describing that it has to be DL, and there's a whole culture of hiding from like the rest of your life because you want to do this thing and feeling so horrible. But it sounds so much like the gay experience, doesn't it? I mean, I feel like there's parallels. So I know that's you can't just have someone come along and go, just don't do that. Like, I hate when people say just something. Why don't you just blah? Well, first of all, the reason why it annoys me is because usually it's because I've said something that I'm having difficulty with, and then the person says, well, why don't you just blah? And it's like the thing that I've already thought of myself, that I have already figured out that I can't do it myself at the moment, and that's why I'm talking about it. Like, I already thought of that ding-a-ling. Like, I don't need you to come along and go, well, why don't you just? But it's more than that when it's something like this with the DL thing, or even just the gay thing in societies, where parts of society where it's not acceptable enough for you to like live with yourself. I'm just empathizing here. Like I said, it's not my experience, but I can imagine what it must be like. I've seen it like play out in front of me with people that I know that are gay, although I don't think I know anyone that was like so trapped in it by it. But when it's a situation like that where you feel all these things and you feel that you have to be closeted, or you have to call it what it's not, or call it something else, it's not up to me to decide what it is or isn't. But what I'm saying is that I understand that you can't just like hear someone like me come along and go, you know what you're doing is not wrong, it's okay, you can drop it. Most of us can't just drop something like that. Like, I totally get that, and I guess that's why I'm talking about it. So that's what I feel like the real problem is here. It's okay. So moving back to the Cat Williams thing, not only was he talking about Kevin Hart and that, he talked about other people, I think. Actually, I'm not going to name names because that's not why I'm doing this, but all you got to do is go to Cat Williams on YouTube, and or go to Club Shay Shay and Cat Williams. Like, search those names and you'll find him going off. And then you'll find other people that he went off about on there talking about it too. But it's like, everybody's saying their say, but they need to be saying it to each other. Like, that's just my opinion. So anyway, I pulled these cards and I had that stuff on my mind, and I was like, who in the heck is this talking about exactly? And also, what am I doing on time here? Okay, not bad. Real quick, because this is going to go on. There's going to be more to say about it, but the P. Diddy thing, and just to be quick about it, the parallels between what's been going on with him for years that people have been talking about, and in some cases they talked and they're not around anymore to talk ever again, and those are being connected back to him, I guess, by law enforcement, even though people have been talking about it for a long time. And one of the biggest mysteries apparently connected to that guy is the deaths of Tupac and Biggie, a couple of rappers, and other people in the industry that were sort of peripheral to him and his industry cohort, and then his like street life people too. It's a very strange melange as far as I can tell. So like, that's still playing out, but that's part of it. Like, It sounds a lot like the Jeffrey Epstein situation, and I have been watching that Diddy thing come out, and all I can think is, like, man, Epstein couldn't be touched, and even the circumstances of his death, they look like somebody decided they could touch him, but it took a long time, and the matter is still not resolved because Ghislaine Maxwell is still amongst us, and to the best of my knowledge, she hasn't cleared up many questions about that whole business. In fact, in the past, when she spoke, particularly before she was imprisoned, she made things more unclear. And I don't know if we're all destined to know what happened there, or details with Diddy, even although a lot of the Diddy details are out there. Which is a shame, because that means a lot of people's business is out there that doesn't necessarily deserve to be caught up in that. Like his kids that were at the house, like people are losing their minds because they were handcuffed and put outside, and I get that too. But I also get why it was done. It's part of procedure of the police, and it's unfortunate that it feels and looks like something that it probably actually isn't for once. Like I said, procedure, and for everyone's safety, to get them out of the house so that they can't, move stuff around or like pick up a weapon and decide to go off on law enforcement or themselves. So I mean, it's an ugly method, but I get it. So I also pulled 2 cards from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck, and it's it's so weird. I pulled out Lion and Lamb because in the context of like a Diddy or Epstein situation, you have lambs and you have lions. And first I pulled the lamb card, and the lion card came out like later by accident. Actually, I was really only want one card, and I also thought of like the weather maxim that uses lamb and lion. I'm not sure what's up with that. Like if spring is going out or coming in like a lamb or a lion. I don't think it's decided yet. It's sort of like my cat that can't figure out what he wants to do. And he's made a lammy pie. He's mad at me right now. Sorry, didn't mean to get sidetracked. And then I also pulled a card from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck, and it is Wailing Tree. And I thought... how funny, because Cat Williams has been out there wailing and freaking out like his hair's on fire, even though he's been wearing some hats everywhere, like something's not happening with his do. I don't know. He's got a very distinctive hairdo. To me, like I notice and go, wow, that's what you're doing with your hair. Sorry. I already grown bald spots for... it's not directly connected to that, but I have talked a lot of head about other people's heads, and I need to shut up about it. So the tarot cards I pulled was first one was 7 of Wands, and this is someone who has made a success of themselves, and they are just sort of blocking out competition and envy and just people that have like something to say that's not helpful, let's call it. And so this is that person starting out, and I already forgot what I had read there. Hold on. But they got their big plan. Their seed money, kind of. Okay, come on now. Any other time, this is the page that always pops up and I can't get it. Come on, man. Nope. Come on, there's 4 suits. How did I miss it? Nope. There it is. Jeez. So, Page of Pentacles. Hold on. The page represents inspiration and ambition. It signifies the energy and motivation needed to succeed. So, you are concentrated on your success. You're getting there. You're getting ahead. This is your idea. You're moving forward, and you're on your way to success. And the next card I got was Queen of Pentacles. Now, if you look at her, she's got her big pocket, her purse, her pentacle, and she's living a simple life. She looks pretty happy and fulfilled, in my opinion. And she's got the very simplest trappings of life. Like, she's even using nature to adorn herself. So she's very in touch with, like, the elements of nature. And if you look at her, she's pretty well in touch with the elements of her own nature, which you got to build up to that, in my experience. And the next card is 9 of Cups. And you can see that this person is experiencing a feeling of joy and tossing the 9 bowls or cups into the air. And the whole scene is sort of joyous. It sort of looks like the morning of a new day when I mean, I guess she's emptied all of the cups, and that was, I guess, the thing that she was supposed to do, because they're all up in the air and there's no liquid coming out of them. So I'm gonna say that she consumed the liquid in its knowledge or something that that she was able to gain from the content of the cups, that was fulfilling and moved her head, moved her up. So let me see real quick what this book says. The 9 of Cups indicates satisfaction and appreciation for emotional and material accomplishments. So some kind of graduation, but always moving forward. So Ace of Swords, this is like someone that's accumulated all of this, and like everything that we saw before, like every step along the way, look at all those steps that led her to emotional and material wealth and independence, and she's done well for herself with all of her information going forward, and she has even moved beyond the seriousness of all of those things that we feel that we have to take on often, and we confine ourselves. I'm surprised I don't have 8 of Swords here, but we kind of confine ourselves in ideas that trap us, and you know, that I often wondered. Okay, let me just get to the next card before I finish up here, because that's what I'm gonna have to do. But so the Queen of Wands has found her way. She's comfortable, and all of her achievements that she was so serious about, she now realizes that, like, life doesn't have to be that serious. You take it as it comes. It has ups and downs. It has things we have to learn, like maybe to do or not to do. And we have to understand why we've done those things. But she's gotten to that point. So, like, nothing is really going to touch her now. She's not reactionary. Like, she can witness and respond and observe, but she's all about her own deal. And, you know, whatever happens with you, right on, but she's doing her own thing. And that takes an element of the fool, because you go through your cycle. Like, this is the beginning and the end, I think. Like, it's the beginning of the journey, but you're also, like, falling off the cliff and just trusting and believing that things are going to go your way, that spirit is going to catch you. And when you surrender that way, you maybe have less of a time with all of the steps and going through the ins and outs and the ups and downs, but I guess that's part of the fun. Like, that's why we're here. We're not here to just be all, I know everything and I'm at the end and I know everything. Like, I guess to make life stay interesting, you gotta go through that whole process again. Like, start off at zero and just surrender and relinquish control to the universe, and whatever is going to happen happens. And that takes a level of confidence and acceptance and belief and faith, I guess. So the wailing tree, like, why is Mr. Williams so fired up and his hair on fire? He is not, according to him, on the DL or any of that, but or wearing the dress. The thing is like I said, homosexuality has been around forever, and we still haven't, like, come to terms with it. And it's like, we don't have to. The people experiencing it, living that life, that's who it matters to. That's who's having the experience. It shouldn't upset you so much, sir, that something you're not a part of is so infuriating to you. And I noticed that he's also disparaging people's appearances. And anymore, when something happens to somebody else, to me, when I'm going to even say or do something, it's becoming more and more of a thing. It wasn't always a thing, but I'm developing it, and I'm glad it's there. I'm glad I have this impulse. But when someone says something mean or does something mean to someone and I see it, I always think, why are you doing that to them? What if that was happening to you? Like, it's always a mirror thing. That wasn't always the case for me. And I guess what I was just describing, particularly of Mr. Williams, why are you so fired up? Why is your hair on fire about it? Why is everything about all these other people making you so mad that you gotta go out and talk about it? Like, all the time for years. Whatever they're doing, it's not your deal, dude. It's not about you. And I don't know, like, a lot of people would say, if you're this mad about gay people, the obvious next thought is, if it only could bother you so much if you feel like it has something to do with you. And that's all I need to say, because, my God, scream and yell some more, dude. You're for me, you're drawing more attention to yourself and whatever is your wild hair more than these other people. And even if they did, like, cabal awful things and they're evil devil, like, they, like, chose that. They chose to be in that energy to get ahead, or to submit to things to get ahead, or to join into things to get ahead, whatever that means to that person. The thing is we live in a polarity, so some of us are going to be what we qualify as good, and some of us are not. They're going to be what we qualify as like bad or evil. And that works for some of us for a while, until we start noticing the mirror, like I was saying, when we open up our mouth and start saying stuff and realize, like, oh, well, that could also be true of me, or I should point that scrutiny at myself. There does come a point when you stop screaming at other people and realizing that you're screaming, and then you start to have to ask yourself, well, wait, what am I screaming about? And I guess that's my whole point for now, because as I said, this thing with the fellas, my goodness, fellas, what are you doing? The anger is really not helping you guys. I don't think. This is just my opinion, though. Opinion, commentary. I didn't show you the signs. Here, look at the signs. I just want to be clear. Opinion, commentary, not the end of the world. Really, like, who am I to you? I can't destroy your world. There will probably be text in the information box to accompany this video. More later on the developing subject of the fellas. Thank you and good night.